fun things about resin is that you can put lots of different things in it. There's the obvious, of course, like mica powders, alcohol inks, but it's kind of fun to try out some odd things too. I've done a few different odd, maybe unconventional pigments in the past, like cinnamon, use that for brown quite often. Chili pepper, there's all sorts of different things. So there's a few things that I kind of want to try out and see what happens. So resin kind of solidifies into a hard plastic. So one of the things that I thought it would make sense to try is nail polish, because it also kind of hardens into a sort of hard plastic. And then I have this, which is supposed to be nail polish that smells like grapes. So I want to see if we can make some resin that smells like grapes, because I think that'd be really fun. I also have some acrylic paint to try out. I'm not sure whether this will work or not. It seems like something that should work because, you know, it's built for coloring things, but resin doesn't really do well with water. Any sort of like moisture will make it so that the resin doesn't cure right. And acrylic paint is water-based. So we're gonna try adding just a little tiny bit, just a little bare drop of paint and see if it causes the resin to not cure properly. The last thing I want to try, which is even more unconventional, is Koolaid. I've seen people dye their hair and stuff before with Koolaid. So I'm wondering how much pigment is actually in here and whether this dry powder will actually like change the color of the resin. So I showed them off at the beginning, but these are all of the different pigments that I have at my disposal to do resin stuff. So to make these, we're just gonna put a little bit of the pigment in and a little bit of resin and mix it up, and we'll let it cure in here, and then that'll just pop out to be a little test chip. Okay, so I've got the cups all laid out. I haven't actually opened any of the Kool-Aid packets yet to see what they look like on the inside. I don't know how colorful it'll be. Let's take a look. Ooh. Oh, it's not colorful at all. It's white. Let me just try something real quick. Oh, it turns blue when it gets wet. I licked my finger. Ugh. Oh gosh. Oh, that's sour. Oh, that's sour. I'm very curious to know whether the resin will make it turn blue or if it has to be water. We're still gonna try it. We're gonna add a little bit to our cup here. We'll see what happens. And we're just gonna go ahead and fill all of these cups with a little bit of the Kool-Aid. We'll add the paint and the nail polish after I've already got the resin in there because they're kind of liquidy. I don't want them to dry out. But we'll do these nice powdered pigments. Powdered pigments. We'll add the Kool-Aid now. Oh, this one is much darker, like as is. I wonder if it'll stay that kind of brown red or if it'll turn more red in the resin. Red in the resin. Smells nice. Well, this one's kind of a grayish color. Ooh, it smells like fake grape. I'm thinking let's start out with some of the Kool-Aid. Let's just see what happens, because remember, this one turned blue, with a little bit of water, but I'm wondering what happens with a little bit of resin. Now that this is all mixed. It looks like it might not change color, but let's stir it up and find out. It doesn't turn blue with the resin. It turns blue with water. It doesn't turn blue with the resin. It just gets kind of foamy. See that? It's like kind of foamy looking. Well, let's try it with the other colors and see what happens. Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure that with water, these would change color. You know, it hasn't changed color to be more vibrant or anything, but this is honestly isn't a bad, like, maroon color. I think this is the strawberry Kool-Aid. I wonder how it'll look once it's completely cured. I guess we'll have to see. Might be a little bit grainy, but it's not terrible. That is the thing with pigments. Sometimes they'll change color after they're cured. I have like a purple pigment, and it looks blue until after it's cured, at which point it's a nice purple. So, you know, it's possible some of these could change as they're curing, but at the moment, that just looks gray to me. Let's try the nail polish and the paint, though, and maybe we'll have some better results. I don't want to add very much in case that, like, you know, there's too much liquid. So I'm just going to add a little tiny bit onto my stir stick, like that, and we'll mix it in and see what happens. We'll see how the color looks too. Just a little bit of paint. Well, if it works out, that's a nice kind of semi-translucent yellow. So I'm going to try adding a little bit more on the red one just to see if we can get it more opaque, see if it cures all right. And then finally for the paint, I got this pretty color shift paint, so it's purple, and then let's see if you can see on here. You can kind of see it's purple and then it like turns blue in the light. So let's try a little bit of that. Ooh. That's maybe more than I meant to grab. I'm curious to know what this does in the resin. Oh, you know, this reminds me a lot of a different pigment that I have. See, it's kind of like a pinkish color and then it shimmers blue. It's very similar, I think, to the Duo Blue Pink pigment that I have. Although that's mica powder and this is a little bit more translucent. So this could be used for some fun effects, I bet. So there's our paint ones. We'll see how they cure. So for the nail polish, we're going to do something kind of similar where we just put like a drop of it in there. And I think this, since it's not water-based, if we end up with a little bit more nail polish in there than like we thought, it should be fine. I think the nail polishes will probably work, but I think what is in the nail polishes is basically what I put into resin anyways. It's mostly like mica powders and powdered pigments probably mixed in with a nail polish base. But we'll see how it cures. Alright, last one. I want to add a bit of this one because this is the one that is supposed to be scented. And I'm really excited about that idea. I think it'd be really cool if I could make scented dice. Yeah, that's okay. We'll try that and see how it goes. Ooh, well, the color worked out nicely. You know, I didn't really like these nail polishes because I felt like they never really stuck to my nails very well. They always kind of ended up a little bit soft. So, I wonder if they might find a new home as resin pigments instead, because that's a pretty nice purple, quite honestly. Alright, so I'm just going to let these cure overnight for the next 24 hours, because that's how long it takes for my resin to cure. And then we can pop them out and see how the colors are looking then. I wasn't actually going to show you this, but it's just been very satisfying. Hopefully it's not too loud. I don't know why I find that so satisfying, but it is. Alright, we've got our test chips. Let's start out with the paint. It actually worked better than I thought it would. They're not, like, super soft. And the colors turned out pretty darn nice. So that's something I might have to try again at some point for an actual set of dice. Depends a little bit. But something that I found very interesting is that they actually don't bend as much as the nail polish ones. These ones are very soft for some reason. I expected them to do better than the acrylic paint, but for some reason the nail polish ones are even more bendy. The colors turned out nice, and actually the grape one, the one that's supposed to smell like grape, did actually end up smelling like grape. The thing is, the grape Koolaid also actually ended up smelling like grape. I think it actually smells more like grape than the grape nail polish did. Obviously the color's not as good, but I do think it smells better. And the color did change somewhat with the Koolaid ones. So here's the chips, and here are the powders. So these ones definitely ended up darker than the powder, and that's something that I've noticed with some powdered pigments before, is that they end up a lot darker than the actual pigments. Yeah, like this one. So this is the hydrated chrome green pigment from Brambleberry, which I do really like. It's kind of a tealy color, but this right here is it in resin. Big difference there. So that's not unheard of, but it's definitely interesting. Something I do want to test, though, is what these look like with water in comparison to the resin. So I did bring a little bit of water down here. And let's put a little bit of water in these and just see what the color ends up like. Yeah, these definitely react with water. So that's definitely a much more bright, vibrant red. This one is like black. It almost looks greenish. This is the grape, supposedly. It is not very purple. So actually it almost ended up more purple in the resin. Lemonade, definitely more yellow. Blue raspberry lemonade, definitely more blue. So that's really interesting. I guess the pigments in Koolaid react with water. They don't really react too much with the resin. Even though it's not quite as bright. It's not a bad color. So that's pretty much it. That's our test runs on the paint, the nail polish, and the Koolaid. I'm probably most surprised that the nail polish didn't really work, and also that the Koolaid did actually make the resin scented. This smells like grape. So that might be something that I experiment with in the future, is adding Koolaid to resin to make it smell like fruit. But let me know what I should try in resin next. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you to my wonderful patrons, and I will see you guys later. Bye!